infamous California Aryan Brotherhood leader Ronald Renegade Yandell was taken back into court day after Thanksgiving and charged with 2 fresh counts of attempted homicide on California police officers or California prison guards from an incident at the state prison in Sacramento, where he was awaiting being shipped out to the feds after he was convicted of massive AB conspiracy.
Ronald Yandell is the alleged ringleader of a crime spree involving the Aryan Brotherhood. Prosecutors used federal wiretaps to discover that Yandell enlisted these fellow Aryan Brotherhood gang members to commit a series of crimes from behind prison walls.
Prosecutors allege Yandell and Troxel were part of the 3-man commission that runs the California wing of the gang. Troxel, who's 66 and is serving a life sentence for murder, is the guy who wrote the federal complaint in '09 that eventually led California to curb the use of shoe terms, and he was leader of the hunger strikes and the end of hostilities that went on over the last few years. Guards testified that on the van ride from the federal courthouse to New Folsom Prison, Ronald Yandell and Danny Troxel blew up at each other with a series of back and forth threats that an officer ranked as a 10 out of 10 on the danger scale. Yandell is the one who told the others he learned that 4 white supremacist gangs, the United Society of Aryan Skinheads, the Wolfpack, the Golden State Skins, and the American Front, had formed a secret alliance against the AB, and that set in motion a war against them for control of white inmates in the California Department of Corrections. The 143-page indictment alleged that Yandell used the prospect of AB membership or increased stature within the gang to convince others to commit murders. 5 murders were actually included in the indictment, but 4 more were stopped by the wiretap, and the would-be victims were rescued and moved into protective custody. While the AB has an alliance with the Mexican Mafia and is a rival of various black groups, along with northern Hispanics, all but one of the murder conspiracies alleged in the case were a result of internal politics. The only outside murder was that of Hugo Yogi Pinell, an old-school BGF member who held the dubious distinction of having served more time in solitary confinement than any inmate in California history, before the AB took him out not long after his release from solitary.
To be in the eyes of the public by the department, to be the most dangerous prisoner in the state of California, you see. But now I find myself being the most endangered prisoner because of the circumstances that have been built around me.
Pinell was assassinated by 2 AB associates. He was a well-known prisoner in international rights circles and was a member of the so-called San Quentin Six, the group said to be behind a 1971 riot and escape attempt at San Quentin, which left 6 people dead. Pinell had personally worked with BGF founder George Jackson. Pinell was targeted, according to the complaint, because he frequently aired racist opinions towards white inmates, which made him a high priority target. And the complaint says that the 2 guys who did the attack, one started stabbing Pinell, ignored smoke grenades, and that the other guy joined in and finished him off, stabbing Yogi 20 times. The attack kicked off a riot between black and white inmates at the Folsom Yard, which lasted 30 minutes.
New Folsom Prison near Sacramento is under extra close watch tonight after 70 inmates rioted this afternoon.
Today, in the exercise yard at New Folsom Prison, another con shanked him, and he died. The prison says Hugo was definitely the target.
His family is devastated by this.
A year later, Yandell allegedly discussed the murder in a 20-minute phone call with AB member Pat Brady, who was at High Desert State Prison and who also had a cell phone.
According to the SACB, this morning, Patrick Big Pat Brady, as they called him, pleaded guilty to murder in aid of racketeering. Brady was charged back in 2019 after the stabbing death of an inmate at a High Desert State Prison near Susanville. His plea is the second one.
Yandell admitted to Brady that the AB had Weaver, quote, kill that N-word Yogi, and that the AB members had been trying to kill him for years. Weaver, Yandell said, one of the hitters, earned his rock, meaning a shamrock tattoo signifying Aryan Brotherhood membership. So by committing the deed, a dead BGF meant a new AB. Hard to believe that this beef, which goes all the way back 50 plus years, is still going strong. Makes you wonder if it will ever end. Back in the late 60s, it probably would have seemed improbable that the California prison system would have changed so little in the next half century, while society outside it changed so much.
Until they maced him. Now, he's in his early 60s,
a question for another
but
day.
he's still clearly capable of being a rough guy. The police, for their part, took the opportunity to rough him up pretty severely. At some point, he was in intensive care. But I wonder if that was a ploy by Yandell to keep himself in California for another several years while this case plays out. These guys that run these prison gangs are very strong-willed, I'll give them that. And the idea that you would get yourself an attempted homicide case on 2 prison guards and get severely beaten just so you could have the reward of staying in California is certainly possible. I would say he's capable of it. I mean,
so it's actually dumb to see us all as divided. Who's dividing us is the powers that be, the hidden hand. Some people call them the blue bloods and the secret society, but it truly is.
Dell, interestingly, also was putting out videos of himself talking about the political situation between different racial groups of prisoners.
Banking and media, the same 1% of the families of the world control that, and they're the ones that are actually manipulating people and causing these that this is the most important thing, and that everybody needs to kill each other, and we need to fight when there's so much more important things going on. That's the whole thing, though. That's the illusion they want to create that cause everybody to hate each other, because you're not focused after that.
Prison officials, citing Yandell's membership in the Aryan Brotherhood, had just finished keeping him locked away in a modern-day dungeon for the prior 15 years. He had been serving a solitary confinement term in California's most notorious secure housing unit at Pelican Bay.
And the Aryan Brotherhood's power was reignited when, after Todd Asker, who's an Aryan Brotherhood member locked down in Pelican Bay for many years, was the lead plaintiff on a big sort of class action by California inmates to force the California Department of Corrections to just not leave so-called validated gang members slammed down in secure housing units indefinitely. So because of things that went on, some of Yandell's associates, the AB, the BGF, Mexican Mafia, some of them got back out on the main line, and according to many parties, the amount of violence in the California prison system has gone way back up in the last few years.
State prison officials are investigating after they say an inmate was attacked and killed by several other inmates. This happened yesterday morning at California State Prison, Sacramento. Officials say Camilo Banas Lopez was attacked in the recreation area by 4 other inmates. He was taken to the healthcare facility at the prison where he later died.
Juan Martinez and Ray Martinez attacked and killed 59-year-old Michael Torres. Torres had been serving a 133-year sentence for a list of crimes, including attempted murder.
Allegedly killed by 2 inmates. Now, Centinela prison officials are investigating his death as a homicide. The California Department